You may have heard Tiger is now on the PGA Tour policy board. He joined in August. Last night, Tiger and 6 other player directors released a memo to the entire membership citing, quote, so much speculation in our game, and, quote, with the new year right around the corner. The memo is saying they're in the process of creating a formal governance board to ensure that in the future, no major decisions can be made without approval of the player directors. Negotiations ongoing with the Public Investment Fund and the DP World Tour, trying to reach an agreement before the December 31st deadline. There have been several meetings with investor groups that have interest in being in a multi-decade strategic partnership. They've agreed to reach a consensus before voting on any proposal to create a for-profit entity or contemplate third-party investment. And they have plans to establish a program in which membership will have direct ownership in the tour through equity grants. Rex Hoggard's been covering this story for the last couple of years. Rex, feels like these next couple of weeks are crucial, with Commissioner Jay Monahan set to meet with the head of the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. What do you take away from this memo, and what's Tiger's impact?
Rich, it's interesting. I think all along I was told by sources that December 31st deadline in the framework agreement was very much a soft deadline, that if they felt like they were making progress, they would kick the can into next year and try to get this right. That doesn't seem to be the case if you read this memo that came out late last night, or if you listen to what Tiger Woods said earlier this week here at the Hero World Challenge. Certainly Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, addressed that as well this week on CNBC. It seems like there will be some sort of decision before we get to the end of the year. And you just pointed out the memo. Now, there are 7 player directors that signed that memo. There's only 6 player directors on the policy board, but they're kind of in transition right now. Charlie Hoffman's term comes to the end of this year. He's being replaced by Adam Scott. They both signed on to that memo, and I don't think there was anything revelatory in it. As you pointed out, they addressed the ongoing negotiations. It seemed to me they wanted to clear up some messaging when it came to the other public equity firms that are interested, referring to them instead as strategic partners. This isn't historically what you see from investment funds. But I think the biggest part of the memo, and again, Tiger Woods mentioned this earlier this week, is the governance review. We're all kind of focused in on the negotiations going on with the PIF, but I think from the players, certainly from the player directors, they want to make sure they get this governance review correct. And this goes all the way back to the June 6th announcement of the framework agreement. There was a lot of discontent among the members, among the top players, that this was negotiated in private. They didn't have any input. This governance review is all about making sure that does not happen again.
Rex, how would you characterize sort of the overall feeling in talking to players out there? Is it nervousness, confidence? What do you think?
I think there's a lot of unknown. When you talk to players, even top players, they don't know what's going on. Certainly you and I are trying to find out in the media, but even from a player perspective, I think there's a lot of holes. I think you start to read between the lines a little bit when you hear Jay Monahan's comments this week saying that he feels confident there will be a deal with the Public Investment Fund as well as another private equity. So it seems to me it's going to be some combo of what we've talked about before. Again, going back to the governance review, I think a lot of players want to see exactly what happens with that. Honestly, I would say right now when you talk to players, it's a feeling of unease because you don't know what the future holds.